Live NFL trivia every Wednesday night on Twitch at 9 p.m. Eastern. Come show off your football knowledge for a chance to win cash prizes. Check the link in the description to find out more. And now, on with our feature presentation. I'm going to put you in the hot seat. Suppose you're an NFL head coach, and at your disposal, you have one of the greatest players in the history of the NFL. This isn't hindsight or anything. This player is in the prime of his career, and is considered by just about everyone to be one of the greatest of all time. He's having the best year of his career. He's gashing defenses left, right, and center. And while he's been doing this for his whole career, as he's made the Pro Bowl every year he's been playing, this year he's taken it to a whole new level. The game is on the line. You absolutely need to get a yard. And if you don't, not only is the game practically over, but your season changes drastically, to the point where your odds of doing anything in the postseason and going to the Super Bowl drop by a lot. At this point, you have two options. Option 1 is to give him the ball and let him work his magic. Option 2 is to let him be on the sidelines and give someone else the ball. And by someone else, I mean someone who hasn't touched the ball in that situation all year. Surely no coach would be dumb enough to do option 2, right? Surely one of the supposed 28 brightest football minds in America wouldn't actually leave his best player on the sideline in this situation, right? Well, it may be Christmas, and everyone's in a jolly mood, but I'm gonna have to play the role of the Grinch here and rain on everyone's parade. Because in 1994, the Detroit Lions and head coach Wayne Fontes left a giant lump of coal in the stockings of everyone watching. December 25th, 1994. It's Christmas Day, and we have a big Sunday Night Football matchup on our hands down in Miami between the Detroit Lions and the Miami Dolphins. This was just the 5th game ever on Christmas Day, and the first Christmas game ever on ESPN. But outside of that historical significance, this was an absolutely monumental game for both sides. Both Miami and Detroit had clinched a playoff spot, but they had a ton to play for in this regular season finale. If Miami won, then they would win the AFC East and host the Kansas City Chiefs. If Miami lost, then the Patriots would win the division, leaving the Dolphins to be a wild card and go on the road to face the Cleveland Browns. For Detroit, they were in a similar position. If they won, they were guaranteed to host a playoff game, and if the Vikings lost to the 49ers on Monday Night Football the next night, then they would win the NFC Central for the second straight season and for just the 4th time ever. If they lost, then they'd be guaranteed to be a wild card traveling on the road either against the Packers or the Vikings, depending on what happened the following night. You had division titles and seeding implications on the line in front of a national television audience with the country watching closely. Safe to say, the stakes were pretty high. It wasn't a must-win game, but there was a ton on the line for both sides. And early on, it was the Miami Dolphins who struck first. On their opening drive of the game, after 2 big passes courtesy of Dan Marino, the drive ended with Bernie Parmalee punching it in from 1 yard out to give the Dolphins an early 7-0 lead. Parmalee had quite the interesting day, as we'll soon find out, as he alternated between really good plays and really bad plays. Obviously, that was the good. This, on the other hand, was not. 2 drives after scoring the touchdown, Parmalee fumbled the ball, and the Lions recovered. Parmalee would lose 2 fumbles on this day, with that being the first one. Fortunately for Miami, the Lions are unable to do anything, and can't advance the ball a whole lot more. But Detroit does wind up getting 3 points. Those were Detroit's only points of the entire first half. The rest of the first half consisted of the Lions struggling to move the ball on offense, and struggling to stop Dan Marino and company on defense. Offensively, it was really bad. The Lions touched the ball 5 times on offense, and all 5 times, they went 3 and out, failing to get a single first down. Dave Craig started the game misfiring on his first 4 passes, and by the time the first half ended, he was just 1 for 6 with 5 yards. Defensively, it was also pretty bad. After Jason Hansen hit that 32-yard field goal to make it a 7-3 ball game, the Dolphins had 4 more drives for the rest of the first half. They scored all 4 times, with 2 field goals from Pete Stoyanovich and 2 more rushing touchdowns from Parmalee, with one coming from 1 yard out and another coming from 6 yards out. At halftime, the Dolphins had a 27-10 lead. Being down by 17 points is obviously bad, but the good news was that the Lions at least scored a touchdown thanks to a 93-yard kickoff return by Johnny Morton, and they were getting the ball to start the second half. Come out of the locker room swinging, and you're right back in this one, and you're right back in the NFC Central race. Sure enough, that's exactly what the Lions do. After a lethargic first half where they did not manage a single first down, the Lions actually sustained their first drive of the game. Dave Craig hits Brett Perriman on an 11-yard pass to move the chains for the first time. Then Craig does it again, hitting Aubrey Matthews for a 9-yard gain and another first down. A few plays later, after Craig hits Ronnie Holman for a gain of 17, the Lions are in Miami territory. Let's see what they do here. On first down, Barry Sanders takes the handoff and picks up 4 yards. Second down, and Craig's pass falls incomplete. Third down, and Craig throws it to Sanders, who picks up 5 yards. He's just short of the first down marker. At this point, the Dolphins decide to call timeout, giving everyone a breather, and the Lions have two options. Option 1 was to have Jason Hanson try a 47-yard field goal. Option 2 was to go for it and try and keep the drive alive. Detroit decides that they're going to go for it. Now, no one, including myself, has a problem with this. You're only a yard away, you built a pretty nice drive, the odds of hitting a 47-yarder aren't necessarily great compared to the odds of getting a yard, and you've got the best running back in all of football. You've got Barry Sanders at your disposal. Just give the ball to him and you're good to go. Just hand him the football and let him do... Wait, that's not Barry Sanders. That's not Barry Sanders. Why is Barry Sanders on the sideline? Why is Barry Sanders on the side?
Lynch will get the carry, tripped up. Klingbeil pushed his blocker back into the backfield.
Welcome to Dumb Decisions. Before I break down what happened here, this whole series is about taking an in-depth look at decisions made during games that were clearly awful from the start. This isn't something that looked bad in hindsight. Rather, this is something that looked awful almost immediately. These are moves where your gut instinct tells you right away that there is no way this can possibly work, and sure enough, your gut instinct was smarter than that of an NFL head coach. And for this one, we're taking a look at the mind of Detroit Lions head coach Wayne Fontes. Look, Fontes was a pretty good coach. He made the Lions a respectable franchise during the 1990s, and to date is the last coach in Lions history to win a playoff game. However, a lot of his decisions were absolutely mind-numbingly stupid. You have no idea just how many episodes of dumb decisions I could put together on Fontes if I wanted to, but I'll save those for another day. Today, we're going to be examining the contents of the eggnog he was drinking before this Christmas game to truly understand why he would do something this stupid. So with that being said, let's take a look at why calling a run play and not having Barry Sanders on the field for it is a really bad idea. Now usually with these, if you're a longtime viewer, you know I like to look at things from a risk-reward standpoint. However, that doesn't really apply here. Again, I have no problem with the decision to go for it. I absolutely would have gone for it. Whether it worked or not, even if they called a pass play, I would have been fine with this decision. It's the fact that when you take everything into consideration, because trust me, this decision somehow gets even worse when you break it down, they did not have Barry Sanders, the best player in the NFL and the eventual winner of Offensive Player of the Year, on the field, and they decided to give the ball to someone else. First, let's ask ourselves who this someone else is. Who was the man getting the rock in the season-defining play? That would be this guy right here. This is Eric Lynch, a third-year undrafted running back. Seems like an odd choice to be playing him over Sanders, but whatever. Let's see what he's done so far this year. And now, I present to you every single handoff that Eric Lynch received in 1994. Roll the tape. That was odd. I thought I was going to play the clip. Something must have happened to the file, or maybe my editor, which is myself, was sleepy on the job and just didn't insert it. But whatever, it should be fixed by now. Let's try this again. Take 2. And now, I present to you every single handoff that Eric Lynch received in 1994. Roll the tape. Oh, come on, are you kidding me? Why is nothing playing? Why can't I get the footage to... Oh, don't even tell me. Don't even tell me. You're telling me this was the first time he carried the ball all season? You have Barry freaking Sanders, who had over 1,800 rushing yards on the season at this point, and you're putting your faith in the division title on a guy that had literally not had a single carry this whole year? Are you kidding me? If I'm a basketball coach, and I have the option to pick one guy to shoot 2 free throws for the win, and I can choose Michael Jordan or a person who hasn't touched a basketball all year, why on earth would I choose the random person? Much like no one's gonna blame me if you pick Jordan and he doesn't hit the free throws, no one's gonna blame me if you give it to Sanders and he gets stuffed. But picking Eric Lynch over Barry Sanders, especially after Sanders was well rested since the Dolphins called timeout right before the play? How does that make any sense? But don't worry, it gets even worse. You might be telling yourself that this might have made sense. Look, Sanders is great, but he's not exactly a big running back, as he's 5'8" and weighs in at 203 pounds. Lynch, on the other hand, is 5'10" and is 224 pounds. He's a bigger back who doesn't go down easily and who can push a pile. And to be fair, this was not the first time that Lynch touched the ball all season, as he caught a few passes and had a few kickoff returns. In total, before the infamous 4th down play, he touched the ball 11 times. One time was negated by a penalty, and the other time he just took the kickoff and ran out of bounds. So in actuality, for the purposes of this, I'm looking at his other 9 touches. I want to see just how often he stayed on his feet. How many times did a guy miss a tackle, or did he bowl someone over and get extra yardage? How many times did it take a while for him to be brought down? As it turns out, I could not find a single instance of this happening in 1994. All 9 times that someone tackled him, they were the first player to make contact with him. All 9 times, the moment anyone laid a finger on him, he was done. So it's not even like the Lions replaced Barry Sanders with a big, strong running back. They replaced him with a guy that couldn't do the things that a typical big, strong back could do. This was the guy they took Barry Sanders out of the game for. Make it make sense to me. And it's not even like Sanders was having a bad game or typically struggled in these situations. On his 9 carries so far during the game, he got at least 1 yard in 8 of them. In situations throughout the 1994 season where Sanders got the handoff and needed 1 yard to get the first down, he picked it up 9 out of 13 times, which comes out to a pretty nice percentage of 69%. I like those odds. You're telling me if I give it to the best running back in the league in a 1 yard situation, I'm going to get the first down 7 out of 10 times on average. Compare that to the odds for a guy that hasn't gotten a handoff all season and hasn't survived first contact all season, which is kind of important if there's no hole, because you want to at least have someone that can push the pile forward, and yeah, that's a pretty big difference. Unsurprisingly, the Lions were unable to recover from this failed 4th down attempt. They tried to put up a fight, and to their credit, the defense stepped up big time. And after allowing Miami to score 27 in the first half, they didn't allow a single point in the second half. But it was too little too late, as the Lions could only muster up 10 more points in the second half, losing it by a final score of 27-20 and falling to a wildcard spot while Miami clinched the AFC East. And while there were a lot of reasons why the Lions lost this game, the failed 4th down conversion definitely didn't help their cause. While no one, including myself, has a problem with the play call or the decision to not kick the field goal and try the play, the fact that the best offensive player was on the sidelines remains a Christmas mystery roughly 30 years later. So what do we learn from all this? If you have Barry Sanders on your team, by God, use him. Don't leave him on the sideline for the biggest and most important play of your entire season. If you're even thinking about putting in the backup running back for whatever reason, at the very least, make sure that this guy isn't getting his first handoff of the season in this critical moment, and make sure that this is a guy that can survive contact and can give you what you're looking for. And again, and I cannot stress this enough, if you're fighting for a playoff spot and need a first down, do not do it without your best player off the field, especially under those circumstances. Because when all these elements are in play, you can't exactly be surprised when this play backfires. Talk about a dumb decision. Get your official Jaguar Gator 9 merchandise by going to jg9shop.com, and be sure to like this video, ring the notification bell, subscribe down below if you haven't already, as it helps the channel out a lot, and be sure to check out Twitch every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern for your chance to play NFL Trivia and win cash prizes, link in the description below. If you want to see videos like this condensed down to 60 seconds, then follow me on TikTok at JaguarGator9 and subscribe to 60-Second NFL History on YouTube. To see highlight videos of players throughout the history of the NFL, subscribe to JG9 Highlights. Also, special thanks to all of our Patreon supporters for helping out the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. See how you can become a patron and request future video topics in the description below.